The banana zone is that period in crypto market. It always comes in the US election, and it tends to come around the summer or autumn of that year, and things start accelerating and get silly. And it's been repeating every single time since crypto began. The banana zone is that period in crypto markets which you would call altcoin season. It's when everything just starts going vertical. Now, it always comes in the US election year because of this cycle, which is the Bitcoin halving cycle, which is this everything code cycle. And it tends to come around the summer or autumn of that year, and things start accelerating and get silly.
Raoul Pal, the CEO of Real Vision, dissected the imminent exponential surge of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, characterizing the market's trajectory as entering what he calls the banana zone in the lead-up to the US elections. In an interview with YouTuber Crypto Banter, Raoul underscored the correlation between a market's parabolic movement and the 2020 elections, labeling it the banana zone. He pointed out that the onset of the banana zone for the 2024 elections is imminent. Additionally, he connected this phenomenon with the current level of MM2, which has turned positive for the first time since 2022, signaling a surge in liquidity. As we bring you clips from the interview, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more video like this. You can join the conversation by dropping your thoughts, comments, and observations in the comment section below. Everything you do helps with YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel growth. Thank you and enjoy the video.
And when prices start going bananas, and they look like the banana. So there's some charts that I've shown on Twitter where, you can see the banana zone there on the left side of the chart. The prior banana zone is when suddenly you get consolidation, it goes up a bit, consolidates, and then it just goes bananas.
So are you alluding to the fact that we may repeat this, so choppy till August-ish, and then...
It's been repeating every single time since crypto began. So this is the Bitcoin halving cycle. It's that chart. That chart is the chart. That's why it looks like a banana. It's just like, it just does this. And it's why we're all in crypto, to be honest. If you think of what liquidity is doing, why the central banks and governments are injecting liquidity, it's to be able to fund the debts. We're in the big debt funding cycle this year, which is why the banana zone happens and why the everything code cycle, all of this happens. They have to fund all the debt. And so they inject liquidity into the system. They do it via rate cuts. They do it via the reverse repo. They do it via quantitative easing. They do it by any mechanism they can to roll the debt. And that's Europe, the US, China, Japan, the UK, everybody, right? So they all do the same game. So they're all teeing up. They've been waiting for inflation to come lower, ready to start hitting the accelerator. Liquidity has been rising, which is why the markets have been rising. But it gets to the phase where it has to go up a lot to finance, $10 trillion of stuff that needs to be financed. So that's all to come. And that tends to happen this year and next year.
How does the election play into this?
You're in an election in South Africa right now, and what every political party does around elections is give out candy to the kids. Right? Any way of giving out some form of stimulus to try and say, well, those guys looked after me, I feel good now. So if I look at even the business cycle, all my forward-looking indicators are like it's turning up quite sharply in the US and globally. So by the time it gets to the US election, the US economy is going to be expanding again. Inflation will be less of a problem. Interest rates will have come down. They'll have they've cancelled some student loans. They'll find some other way of giving money to people.
All that's economy stimulating. All that is putting more money into circulation, right?
Correct. But they care about the voters. And look, Coinbase has 108 million accounts, of which right now maybe 10, 12 million are active. As you start going to the banana zone, that starts going from 10 million to 20 million to 30 million. So suddenly it becomes a lot of voters. Add that to the political power of the firms that are involved in the ETFs, and it's now actually a funding issue for these people as well. Because if they say the wrong things, then the big financial sponsors for their super PACs start applying pressure. So I think it's much more of an issue than they first realized. And I think Liz Warren made a fatal mistake of saying we're building an anti-crypto army without realizing you're fighting a bunch of degenerate meme artists who are native to the internet, who are distributed everywhere. That's not an easy battle to take on. And I think they're starting to realize that this could be their own goal, because obviously RFK as well is running on a pro crypto format. So the Democrats, they either have to kind of fall in line, or they're going to try and say, we are the party that stands against this. But who does that play to? They're not going to get the swing voter by doing that.
In a separate development, Fred Krueger, an investor and fervent advocate of Bitcoin, scrutinizes the distribution of wealth in America. He notes that 20% of personal funds are invested in the market, while 40% are under the custody of fund managers, and 30% are held by institutions. Surprisingly, despite the introduction of the Bitcoin ETF, there hasn't been a widespread embrace of Bitcoin. This can be attributed to the fiduciary responsibilities that many entities bear as they handle substantial sums of money. Nevertheless, as clarity surrounding Bitcoin increases for both institutions and fund managers, we are witnessing a gradual uptake in significant price surges, anticipated through 2025 and 2026.
Now, 5 months into this process, we're just starting to see some of these places like Morgan Stanley. There's news, and not quite news, but there's rumors that they may be close to accepting Bitcoin on their platform. So this rollout phase is just getting going right now. And I think this is very, very bullish, right? And it's not just bullish over the next 3 months. It's not just like a little hit. No, this is bullish over the next 3, 4, 5 years. So, I think we could really be in for a very long secular bull market here. This could take us much, much higher. And it's an amazing time to be involved in Bitcoin, because you're really getting in before this sort of tidal wave of money has had time to sort of deploy. So just to recap, I think, we're looking at, 10 times as much money that has ever been involved in Bitcoin, hitting the Bitcoin ecosystem. And they're going to have to buy this Bitcoin from people like me. That's just a fact, And guys like me don't want to sell their Bitcoin. So that's going to push the price higher. It's supply, it's demand. I think that the numbers are extremely compelling. So, and I think this chart, really illustrates exactly what's going on. It's just annual returns. So we see, we've had, obviously the first 3 years were exceptional, right? With Mt. Gox doing 5,000% in 2013. So it was up 50x in 2013. Then the crash of Mt. Gox. Then we have the sort of second bull market, culminating in the 14x rise in December. It actually went higher in December, right? But it only shows up as 14x. Followed by the 75% retracement, followed by almost the same kind of thing, but on a much more muted scale in the next cycle, and then we have this cycle. So, I would caution that do we expect 2026 to be a big negative? I'm not so sure it will be. Do I expect more double-digit or returns here? Yeah, I do. I think triple-digit. I think we're going to get 100% return rate in 2025. We might have 100% or 75% in 2026.
In other similar prediction news, Robert Kiyosaki, renowned for his best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and a steadfast advocate of gold investment, predicts that Bitcoin will soar to $350,000. He shared his perspective via a tweet on his X handle. It says, "I am confident Bitcoin will hit $350,000 sometime in 2024, but for it's only a target, a dream, and a wish. I keep buying more Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana because quite certain their prices will continue to rise. Why am I so confident? Is it because I am certain about BC, Ethereum, and Solana? Moreover, Raoul Pal reinforces the notion that the parabolic surge in cryptocurrency prices is underpinned by the liquidity cycle, prevailing interest rates, and the broader macroeconomic environment.
In the end, the more people build on it, the more. If you abstract this all away, what are we doing here? We've been given the new layer to the internet, which is the internet of value, the layer of ownership, settlement, all of this stuff. Now, unlike the internet, we couldn't own that. We can own this. So the more it gets used, the more the number go up and the more we profit from it. So it's this huge egalitarian, democratic way of distributing a huge amount of wealth to a huge number of people. To put it in perspective, this space is a $2.5 trillion space today. By the end of this cycle, it should be $10 to $15 trillion. By 2032, if you continue growing at these kind of rates, you get to $100 trillion. So there's $97.5 trillion of money on the table, which is why I keep telling people not to fuck this up, because the opportunity is so big. And that is just by owning the new internet, essentially. So that's what this is all about. So there is a banana zone, which is the periods of time where it goes bananas. Then we get the corrective periods, and then we repeat this cycle again. Now, will everything repeat perfectly? Will it be identical? No. You know, there's no guarantees come with this. But it's based on the liquidity cycle. It's based on the macro cycle. It's based on interest rates. It's based on a lot of things.
And that wraps up today's video, featuring Raoul delving into the ramifications of Bitcoin on the US presidential election and its potential parabolic impact on asset prices. What are your thoughts on Fred's market assessment and its trajectory? We'd love to hear your perspective on Robert Kiyosaki's bold prediction of Bitcoin reaching $350,000. Did you find value in this discussion? Please feel free to share your comments and observations in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.